Hi there, my name is Sarah Riley, Fairfax. I'm a healthcare practitioner. I have hyperelectric sensitivity. It's not a fringe illness, it's a condition of overexposure to electromagnetic radiation. And you are approaching the floodgates of an epidemic in your county if something is not abruptly done about the smart meter rollout. An epidemic of neurogenic inflammation secondary to electromagnetic radiation exposure, which can manifest as such symptoms as ringing ears, headaches, pain, burning, heart palpitation, autoimmunity, and at the furthest end of the spectrum, cancers. People are already getting sick from smart meters. People are already sick from overexposure to electromagnetic radiation, and I can speak personally to both of those issues. I urge you to enact an emergency moratorium on smart meters and related smart meter equipment until the smarter wired grid of Marin County can be implemented. Neglecting this issue and delaying an immediate emergency moratorium will be a very sad oversight and disgraceful, disappointing oversight of the precautionary principle. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that if you... Thank you. Thank you, Madam President and council members. My name is Linda Browner. I am from Mill Valley, and I really want to commend my friends and colleagues from West Marin. They are terrific, and thank you. I do support the comments made. I do want to make some comments of my own. The health effects, the deleterious health effects are well known of this radio frequency. The high quality studies, there is a correlation. The low quality studies funded by Motorola, etc., no correlation. That is substantial. It's out there. The Fourth Amendment violation, that is obvious. The increased cost is obvious, but I am a clinical psychologist, and I do want to talk about one thing, and that is the climate of terror, of fear, of harassment, of anxiety that is being created in our lives, not knowing whether when we go home we will have one of these toxic elements implemented in our home. That is substantial. Thank you so much.
I'm going to really hold people tight to the 1 minute now because we've got more people in the queue.
Anastasia Sheldon, Sleepy Hollow, and while I'm not speaking on behalf of myself, I want to let you know that we are starting to organize in Sleepy Hollow. While you have heard a lot from District 4, you will be hearing from us, and I've got some colleagues coming. I'm here today representing my friend who had to leave to go to a meeting. Her name is Karen Horstmeyer. She's from Villa La Cumbre in Green Bay, and this is the first time she was going to have spoken or even been to one of these meetings. Since receiving a smart meter in the fall, Karen, who's a longtime resident of Green Bay, had a change in her bill of $125 a month, and the wattage went up. So she could not account for this any other way than the smart meter. When she had originally called to have herself put on a delay list, they said they would, and they came in and they did it anyway against her will. So that's all I have to say. I just want to note there was somebody, and we have billing, and we can get it to you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Brannigan from the Ecological Options Network. Thank you so much for considering this, and of course I totally support it. I wanted to make one clarification. Jared Huffman's request of the California Council on Science and Technology is not, what that is to investigate whether or not the FCC guidelines are adequately protective of public health, not whether the smart meters are directly okay. So it's important that you understand that. And the current FCC guidelines do not relate to multiple exposures or constant long-term exposures at all. They only protect you for one 30-minute exposure to a 6-foot, 185-pound meal. For tissue heating. And one more thing, the Bolinas Public Utilities Board, the BPUD, in May 2010 unanimously voted to request this moratorium. Just wanted to thank you.
Next.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I brought you all an Outsmart PG&E bumper sticker, or window sticker if you like. I think getting the word out any way we can is really important. So that's that. Then I'd also urge the board to please write a letter to our new Governor Brown and ask him to remove PV from the CPUC. I would also like to ask you to please write the cities and towns of Marin and urge them to join your moratorium and let them know that what you're doing here. And lastly, to please urge MMWD to put the brakes on too, because we're hearing about their smart meter program all the time. And lastly, Cindy Sage asked me to bring you a new report they put online, and it's Sage Associates has published an online report titled Assessment of Radio Frequency Microwave Radiation Emissions from Smart Meters. This can be seen at sagereports.com/smart-meter/RF.
Thank you. And you were over a minute. Thank you. Please, next. Everybody do as well as she did.
Yvette Wakefield, Fairfax. And two things quickly. Several years ago, I became very upset about a newspaper article in the Ross Valley Reporter that spoke about a special SUV that the town of San Anselmo has. It's a special SUV because it can deal with weapons of mass destruction. It can also deal with civil unrest and crowd control. And I went to the Fairfax Town Council at the time and I said, look what we have in San Anselmo. What's going on here? What is this special weaponry that they have for civil unrest and crowd control? What do they expect to happen in San Anselmo? Well, lo and behold, a few years later, here we are with people in Fairfax and West Marin willing to block the roads, and we are. Many of us have said that online. We will go out and stand in the street. And this is what's happening. So I urge everyone to find out what are this special weaponry. Are these electromagnetic weapons? Why are our police being trained for civil unrest and crowd control here in Marin County like this? Also, Supervisor Charles McGlashan, you were talking about the extinction of all these species of animals. I know, but in last Sunday's paper in the Chronicle, the human race is going to be extinct in 100 years. It's here in the newspaper.
Next speaker.
My name is Dave DeSanti. I live in Forest Mills. I was here 2 weeks ago, on the 14th rather of December, and mentioned how the installed smart meter was affecting my son. He's had to spend most of the last 3 weeks away from home. I need to get the smart meter off, and I really applaud what you're doing. I really support the moratorium, but you need to have wording in there forcing PG&E to remove smart meters where they're doing damage as they are at my place. And any kind of help I can get from the board to get them to remove this, I would like that. I've contacted PG&E. They said, oh yeah, we'll call you back, we'll have the supervisor call you. Nothing has happened. I bought a stupid meter, and I'm going to have to put it on if they don't get this off. I need your help in doing that, and I need your help to get these smart meters removed in your wonderful ordinance. Thank you.
Bruce Mitchell, Inverness.
Can I pull the mic up?
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
Very few of us knew what hexavalent chromium was until the film Marin County came out. But we did find out that as a mutagenic carcinogen, it was contaminating the groundwater of Hinckley, California, creating a 276% higher cancer and disease rate than the surrounding communities. And we learned that the cover-up that PG&E attempted was just a criminal disregard for the health of citizens that live so close to its compressor plant. And what I see in the imposition of smart meters in Marin County is a continuation of the corporate mantra that profits come before people. And that philosophy is so morally bankrupt, and I applaud your moratorium. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, I'm Tom Ryder from Inverness. I'd like to ask you to use PG&E's counsel if they can't be bothered to come to meetings like this and explain their actions to the public. It's part of their arrogance, but also, I think, the purpose is to marginalize the opponents, such as the people in this room. They can't even be bothered to show up and explain what they're doing. I think if you look at how they've handled the natural gas pipeline, part of their business, illustrates what they're doing with smart meters. They basically lobbied to get an inadequate inspection technique approved because it saved them a lot of money. And that's what led to the San Bruno explosion and fire. And they've shown a similar lack of concern about health and public welfare in the smart meter program. So we need you to help protect this. The Chronicle today on the front page says that the National Transportation Safety Board is asking PG&E to review their pipeline records. They have no authority to regulate. They ask the California PUC to do their job. And that's what we're asking you to do, is protect us and ask the California PUC to do their job. I urge you to pass the ordinance you have now and come back very soon with amendments such as de-installation. But I would not want you to delay this moratorium.
Domo, unincorporated. Happy New Year. Here we are in 2011 with an FCC using guidelines from 1985. No other federal agency stepping up. Research funded by corporations being investigated. A PUC that enables instead of regulating. And it is no wonder that people are taking to the streets to protect themselves. I urge you to pass the ordinance unanimously and remain proactive. Please do not be intimidated by a rogue public utilities company. Thank you.
Hi, Nancy Okada, San Anselmo Town proper. I've asked them to delay my smart meter, and so far I haven't seen the truck in my neighborhood. I want to encourage you to pass this ordinance and give courage to other municipalities throughout this country. There is a major revolt of the citizenry against these smart meters. It's in Maine, it's in New Mexico, it's in Texas, it's in Cleveland, it's in San Diego, it's in Washington, it's all over this country. And people are so upset, they don't know where to turn. Once they're installed, they can't get them deinstalled. And I have people calling me saying, what can I do? I have my meter, my charges are up tremendously over last month. What can I do? And so we come to you asking you, please, give the other municipalities, the other governments throughout this country courage to stand up and say no to the installation of these smart meters. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Miller. I live in the unincorporated area of Sleepy Hollow. I have never spoken publicly before, but I felt compelled to do so today, so I'm a little nervous, that's why. When I heard about this meeting, I wanted to go around my neighborhood with a petition to see how many people and how they felt about the smart meters. I had an overwhelming response from about 30 of my close neighbors. I wish I had allotted more time to go around. One young family just moved from Connecticut to what they thought was the country because Sleepy Hollow does not have streetlights. She is so afraid of the effects of wireless on our young children, she has asked her neighbors to turn off the Wi-Fi at night. My neighbors expressed concern about their health and safety. One neighbor expressed concern not only with privacy rights, but with PG&E possibly charging higher prices during peak times, even though the smart grid should enable better distribution of energy. By the way, I was warmly thanked by everybody for coming today, and as I said, there was really no opposition to signing the petition. I had the signatures here. In 2002, the volunteers of the Marin Cancer Project went searching for possible causes for the high rate of cancer.
Yeah, and if you would like to submit your petition to the clerk.
Good morning, Dr. Sandy Ramos. When I first heard of your pending smart meter ordinance, I thought I'd put on my health council hat and read from our past letter and resolutions. Then I got a copy of the wording. It's the best document I've seen from this body in 25 years. Special thanks to the legal department. I've often spoken to you about how hard it is for people with chemical sensitivities to find places they can tolerate. It's much, much harder for people with electrosensitivity. Both of these patients rely on their houses as sanctuaries, and now a corporation is forcing a radiating device on people's homes as well as public buildings. Those who have these now and are getting sick need to get them off their houses. This just came across my desk this morning. This is the SAGE report. I'm reading it for your legal department. Basically, 2 sentences. RF levels are predicted to be substantially elevated within a few feet to tens of feet from the meters. SAGE summarizes, no positive assertion of safety can be made with respect to pulsed RF when exposures are chronic and occur in the general population. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Ginger Daughters Mason. I just want to thank you for having this ordinance walk forward. Also, I agree with everything everyone said. I have a question. if we have someone come to our house, can we call the sheriff to have them go away if they refuse? Also, we need help on getting installations out. We watched as our neighbors who were not home have a meter installed in their gas meter surreptitiously without their knowledge and without their consent. So thank you for passing this. I hope you do and stay strong.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Stranger. I live in Sunvale in Centerville. I forwarded emails to each of you the other day regarding this issue, which I'm in full support, the moratorium and this ordinance. I'd also like to draw your attention to the link that I had provided about November 17th symposium at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco, which goes into great detail about a number of these issues that concern our health and privacy. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Peggy Nicholson. I live in San Anselmo, and I really want to support what everyone else has already said, but we're already trying to figure out how to get the meters off. I have 5 of them right outside my house. I have a dog who has diabetes. I'm having trouble regulating his blood sugar. One of the effects of the dirty electricity is something called type 3 diabetes. He was in ketone acidosis and almost died several days ago. And I have a suspicion it has something to do with dirty electricity. He is the 3rd dog I've had in 3 years who's had diabetes. Also, again, this is America. It is not true that PG&E can force us to take these meters. That simply is a lie. It is a lie that the government can force us to take these meters. That's just a vagary. It is a lie that the CPUC can do it, and also it's a lie that there's controversy over the health issue. There's not. There's enough evidence scientific evidence for anyone. All those things are lies, and the fact that we can't opt out or take it off our homes, those also are lies. We have the right to do that. So we need to align to the truth here, stop the lies here. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anne Elvin. I'm from Lagunitas. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm representing myself. And also the group we started, the San Joaquin Valley Smart Meter Watch. And that's just to try to call each other and to warn each other to race over there and try to stop installation. And I've never done something like this. And I've never aspired to do something like this. And I'm please, I mean it. Please adopt this moratorium. We can't go on this way. No, it's scary. And Christine Hodel and many others, by the way. But Christine Hodel also had to leave early. She asked me to leave all her notes. So her name is written on the back. I'll put it up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marin Weber from Stinson Beach. 2 new points I'd like to make. I am putting up a solar system as a way to avoid getting a smart meter. However, they say that Wellington Company in a year or 2 will invent a smart meter for those of us that have taken this route. I'm asking you in your ordinance to put in a protection for people who've taken this route to not have a smart meter on their home. The other point is the 1-foot toxicity, which is in the Sage report. My hearing arts store will have to leave it. We are 1 foot away from the meter if it gets put in. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next.
Anne Spade, Camp Valley. I would submit to you that the precautionary principle, which is your fundamental policy, would in itself dictate that you pass this moratorium. In regard to concerns that can't be just about what's happening right now, but the fact that we have no idea what the results will be long term or on vulnerable members of our population. The burden of proof with the precautionary principle is not on us as a population to prove that it's safe. It's on the industry, and we need to double check them. I would like to add further, my daughter-in-law and son live in Steve Kinsey's district. They put in a delay request, and instead the meter was installed. When they called about it, they were simply told that Wellington never received the delay request. And furthermore, if the delay did not mean at the end of February, which people were told, but rather that it would only be 2 weeks. It would be the end of the neighborhood installation. Lastly, I just want to add, I have padlocked my gate, and I am subjected to weekly robocall threatening calls from PG&E.
Thank you. Turns out. Yes.
Bertani from Lagunitas. Pretty much the whole room stood up when asked who was in favor of this ordinance moratorium. And I'm asking you to stand up with us, with the people, against the corporate power abuse, just like the plastic bags, and you have to do it here as well with the smart meters. Thank you so much.
Vicki Sievers, I live in Incorporated San Rafael.
Vicki, put the microphone.
The microphone.
Okay, Vicki Sievers, Incorporated San Rafael. As a veteran of a September street fight with Wellington Energy, I appreciate this ordinance. There are a few of us still holding out on our street. We do not have smart meters, and we certainly hope that you can influence the incorporated towns and cities to follow suit with this ordinance. May I also add my applause for the text of the ordinance itself. For smart meter opponents, it makes a titillating read right up there with it for us to win.
I got some better book recommendations.
Happy New Year. My name is Denise Castellucci. I'm representing Marinwood, the lovely neighborhood, and we lucked out because we happened to be home because we work at home with computer servers, and we were able to stop them from coming in and doing it because they would damage our servers. And so I represent people who are in that position. You know, I don't know the next guy coming out will be as understanding. Also, supporters of the smart meter would have us believe that it is just as safe as a cell phone. But I can turn off my cell phone. I can't turn off the smart meter. It's going to be going on. We don't know the long-term effects of having this over years and years. And once we put it in, we can't take it out. So one of the things I want to do is support de-installation as well, because a lot of my neighbors went on vacation over the holidays and came back and had a smart meter without their thing. So
this company wanted to impose on the residents, and so I wanted to share that with you, that the people that are here are kind of standing up to that, and to have to face somewhat of a show of force invasion in the community around this issue is pretty tough. So I support the moratorium too.
Thank you. Next comments.
Hi, my name is June. I'm a resident of West Marin. I just want to say I'm really glad I came today, because the feeling I'm leaving with is that you guys get it. You know what's going on and you get it, and that makes me feel way, way better. And having your support and having this ordinance and this moratorium being voted on today really makes me feel better about my arrest last week. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate the support of Larry and Ford and Frank and of my community. I don't know how to take off a smart meter yet, but if there isn't the verbiage in this ordinance or one to come soon, I'm going to figure it out. And I've heard a lot of people say today that we don't have a choice, and I want to say that of course we have a choice. I'd like to remind people that yes, we have a choice. PG&E would love for us to believe that we don't, but we do. We may not have the choice to remain silent and have our views be respected, so let's keep speaking up. Thank you.
Also under a minute.
Hi, my name is Alden Bevington. I'm a resident of Nicosia. A number of excellent points have been made by everybody here. What I want to focus on is one thing, that EMFs are an ubiquitous part of our modern world, and we're all using them for our Wi-Fi and whatnot. So I want to encourage the council to not bring up issues that can be easily assuaged by PG&E and then spoken of as that a concession has been made. But most specifically, I want to remind us that that we would be wise to have this effort and all of this energy we see in this room balanced with a continued perseverance in Marin's pursuit of an energy independence. The issue here is that people need to trust their energy provider. I'd love for us to focus this argument not so much on what we don't want, but what we do want, and for us to keep our eyes on the prize.
Hi, I'm Stan Sparrow, Tiburon. I've been an electrician for 30 years. I'm an activist with the IBEW Electricians Union of this local jurisdiction. They hate smart meters. The Electricians Union, they do not agree with them. They're not accurate. Some of them are not safe, and they're unhealthy. And they were not installed by electricians. And so I urge people to verify them. I can put a testing meter there and add into the moratorium so that people can verify the accuracy of them if they have complaints. And we can do that with a simple meter. And that I can have them uninstalled. And go solar.
Good morning. Thank you. When I read the ordinance, I was so impressed with how well it was written. And I would like to urge you to adopt it and also to add the aspects for de-installation and also an enforcement clause so that it will have teeth. Thank you.
Would you mind telling us where you're from if you don't want to
Oh,
provide
yes.
your name?
No. Oh, my name is Carolyn Hockey. I'm from Inverness.
All right. Next topic.
My name is Sue Bazzo, and I'm temporarily housed in Fairfax. I've been essentially homeless for 3 years. I've lived in 8 places this year. I have multiple chemical sensitivities and electrical hypersensitivity. Chemicals were the main issue for most of those 3 years until this year. I was living in Marin. I tried to live in Berkeley because I couldn't find a safe place in Marin. And I got really sick there. I was very overstimulated, couldn't concentrate, couldn't remember. I was on the verge of panic. It was hellish. And that's when I discovered smart meters, and then I was living within an operating smart meter mesh network. I had to get out of there as soon as possible. I came back to Marin. My symptoms rapidly subsided, though I'm much more sensitive now. My world is shrinking. There's fewer and fewer places in Marin that I can live. Right now I can't tolerate the house I'm in because there's a Wi-Fi router. Almost all the places I've lived, there are Wi-Fi routers. My world is shrinking and I don't know where to live. And the second point I would like to make very quickly is about autistic children. I haven't heard anyone mention it. They share many things in common with my illness. Dietrich Klingart has done studies measuring electrosmog in mothers' bedrooms where they were pregnant with their children. There's a huge correlation with electrosmog. We're sending electrosmog in mothers' bedrooms with smart meters. Please protect the children, and thank you so much for your work. I really appreciate it.
Hello, thank you. I'm Rachel Johnson. I'm from Bolinas, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Ecological Options Network. I wanted to make one more point about the SAGE report. You were given a copy of that earlier. That's just come out. I hope you understand the significance of that. Cindy Sage is one of the foremost researchers in the country, maybe in the world, of electromagnetic radiation, an independent researcher, non-industry funded. Her work is very important. She's one of the first people to specifically study smart meters. And one point in the report that we really wanted to emphasize, that it clearly shows that there are many violations of FCC compliance guidelines that are likely to occur under many normal conditions of installation and operation of smart meters. And we will be sending you each a link also to that report so you can have it easily accessible. Thank you so much.
I'm Sandy Damaska from Sun Valley San Rafael, and I wasn't planning to speak, but I think I'm the only person here that has had the meter de-installed. My arguments were all electrical, all the electricity in my house has just gone crazy. From the washing machine to outlets that don't work, the GFI doesn't work, my computer is circuit problems. But they came on December 31st and de-installed it. So there's hope.
Tanya Bedford, Bolinas, but I'm speaking on behalf of laboratory rats. We would like to publicly trash corporate gangster culture, whose motto is Profit über alles. And thank you for what you're doing on behalf of Bolinas and laboratory rats everywhere.
There was a comment earlier that there was a member or two of the public who had a disability who couldn't stand in the line. Have all of those people been able to address our public? Okay, with that, I'm going to close the public testimony. I'm going to bring it back to our board and just say that I think probably one of the biggest benefits of having this hearing today and allowing the time for the public to speak is the public has a venue to speak. Because I think there's been a lot of pent-up anxiety, concern, and feeling unheard. And this has certainly been a forum where we